Good afternoon. We'd like to welcome you to the County Commissioners meeting for the end of June here, even though it's the middle of June, the last meeting of this month. We usually start our meeting with prayer. This is a solemnizing prayer that Reverend Taylor will lead us here with that, and then we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. The prayer is what's called a solemnizing prayer. It's a prayer for wisdom, and Solomon seems to be the person that we all agree on has been pretty wise throughout history. So that's where the name originates from. But at this time, if we could, we'd like to call Reverend Taylor up and ask him to give us a prayer.
Commissioners, let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this meeting we're about to have, and we thank you for the county commissioner provided the information they need tonight for this meeting. Pray you give them the wisdom they need, Lord, and thank you for the work they do. Thank you for the love they have for Rowan County. Pray you encourage them, strengthen them, dear Lord. Yes, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We welcome you today, and at this time we would consider any additions to the agenda. I have 14, I think. See if we can get them all together here. Sarah, what'd you do with those things? All right. You want me to start with this? Yeah. Okay. The additions to these are budget amendments, 12-327. They will be consent item SS. North Carolina DVA, North Carolina DMVA is a grant agreement, an associated budget amendment, and it will be consent item TT. And we're going to have a request for a special call meeting, which will be on the consent as UU. And at this time, we can do that now, can't we? I know we got two other on there. You want to do those before we ask about the time? Do what? Okay. 5-year lease extension for the library, the main library, the rear parking lot, a lease for that, and that will be VV. And contract 23052 RCHD, dental equipment and installation, and that will be consent item WW. These, okay, we'll get to the regular.
You need a motion.
Need them. Oh, the bottom ones are revisions.
Right.
Okay. There's a revision to the easement survey that we had with Duke Energy agreement, consent item X. Revised Arrowwood relocation agreement, That's the Airwood Expansion and Assistance Agreement, and that will be consent item FF. Okay, Mr.
Okay. Make a motion to add these items to the agenda.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Just one.
Is there any deletions?
Cons- All right. Now we're going to consider any deletions from the agenda.
There aren't any.
All right.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Need a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve consent.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, at this time, we will go into our public comment period. This is a period of time for individuals to have 3 minutes to speak to items that they choose. And our I can't read this. Santiago, where? Gutierrez? Quintero, okay.
Okay, so the reason I'm here, good evening, everybody. Santiago Quintero. Yeah, so I live in the southern part of Rowan County, Uniqueville, and I've been having some issues that I have a commercial vehicle parking as I come into my home. I live in a dead end, and they park on the street, and they've been eroding the road, and they got oil spills and all the above. I can't have my children. I got 2 teenagers that can't go outside and play because RGS trash truck smells. It just looks bad for the neighborhood, and it's just not good. And I've been I'm coming here to talk to you guys, see if something can be done about it, because at the end of the day, commercial vehicles are not supposed to be in residential areas. And I have not spoken to the owners of the ones that live at that property that drive these vehicles, because the previous owner had words with them because they used to park their commercial vehicles there, but nothing ever was done about it. State troopers come out and spoke to them about it, about maybe parking them in their property, but it was never done. So I'm just coming over here to let y'all know what I feel about them parking there, and it's just not good. They got a lot of oil leaking everywhere. Our septic, our wells are close to the road, and it's just not good for the environment as well as for ourselves in case they contaminate our water and all the above. So I was just coming up here to see if something could be done so we can stop them from parking their commercial vehicles on the public road. And then the biggest thing for me too as well is that as I come into my home, they're parking halfway in the road. If I have any kind of emergency vehicles won't be able to get to my home because of these vehicles being in the way. And that's the reason I'm up here.
Yeah, it's,
The thing you need to do is call the sheriff's department.
Okay, yeah, we call.
And call him every time he's doing it.
Okay,
And eventually, they'll write him a citation, or they'll they'll tow it.
okay,
But that's who you need to talk to. The Highway Patrol ain't gonna fool with this, because it's not statewide.
okay,
You got a good sheriff's department, call them up, let them know what you're dealing with, have them come out and inspect it, and once they do, just keep a record of it.
okay,
Once you've called 4 or 5 times, I guarantee you they'll get tired of you calling.
okay, yes, that's definitely what I do. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
several years ago, the state of North Carolina took anything doing with the roads, took it away from the county commissioners.
Okay,
But you have a legitimate problem. And,
yeah,
Commissioner Pierce here is giving you some good advice. And is there anybody back there tonight from the sheriff's department?
No, they're on vacation.
Thank you.
They can't take vacation yet. We hadn't
I
approved
guess when I call, they'll be on vacation maybe as well. Hopefully they're not.
Chairman's gone.
But you do that, and you should get something done about
All right, thank you, sir.
it, sir. The next is Anthony Bear.
Good evening. Thank you, guys. First of all, I wanted to say thank you for the stewardship over this building. You guys have kept it up really well. It's very pretty. Thank you. This issue that Mr. Quintero has, 10 years ago, I came up here, and the home that Mr. Quintero lives in, I sold him the home that I lived in previously. So he's lived there 10 years now. This situation started about 10 years ago with Tracy and Angel Smith. They had big trucks, big commercial industrial trucks that were parking in the road. The solution back then was that the county or the state said, okay, we don't have any ordinances or zoning for the county. I believe we have county, planning now or zoning for the county, but I'm not for sure. But anyway, the house that I own is adjacent to the house where Mr. Quintero lives at right now, 500 Carter Street. So 500 Carter Street and the home that Mr. Quintero lives in is at the end of the road where Mr. Smith and Angel Smith are parking their vehicles. Now, if you guys could put yourself in our shoes when you come out the front door and you see two big old trash trucks sitting halfway in the road. Now, if you could imagine tonight coming home and you're driving on Spring Garden, Enigville area, and you get on Earl Street and then you turn on Carter Street, you can see so what we really want to do is we want to get something done about this. We want to, make sure that the investments that we have invested in are not depleted by somebody that doesn't have the same type of stewardship to the properties that they have invested in. Any questions for me?
I just,
Go
can you
ahead.
just tell me, is it a private or a public road?
It's public. It's owned by the state. Yeah.
You call them this?
Yeah, and you can see where the road is tore up, and you can see there's a big oil leak there that is going in the right-of-way of a ditch, and that ditch does go to our wells on those two properties. And, and Mr. Pierce, I appreciate you mentioning that go to the sheriff. We have called the sheriff. We have actually called the highway patrolman, and, we haven't gotten any names there, but we will pursue that for sure. But is there a county?
On the local level.
Huh?
The highway patrol's not gonna deal with it.
Okay,
That's why I say call the sheriff.
yeah,
They're very conscientious deputies that will come out, they'll file a report, call every time you see
Okay.
it, if it's every day.
okay.
And eventually they'll do something about it.
Well, the solution last time, they were going to, the State Department, the Department of Transportation came out there and said that the Smiths needed to build a place to park their vehicles off the road. And so it never did happen. So we don't know why it didn't happen. I think what happened was they decided to get out of the commercial trucking business. And so now here it is again, 10 years later, and now they're driving garbage trucks for residential garbage service. Now, as I mentioned residential garbage service to the press, we do know that it has just sold. I think Waste Management has taken that over. So Waste Management now is the owner of residential garbage service. Now, we feel like residential garbage service would not be parking their vehicles in a community where it'd be a residential community. And if you think about it, I have tenants that live in 500 Carter Street. They have two little boys that are 7 and 5, and they want to ride their bikes there. And Mr. Quintero has children too that are a little bit older, and they can't even ride their bikes on a back street because two big old, dump trucks, garbage trucks are there. And if you could imagine the smell of this, it's not pleasant at all. And I just remember I was so upset 10 years ago when they had tractor and trailers out there, and you guys can, hear our passion. We just want to make sure that, we need your help. We need your muscle. we need some support to, make this happen.
Would the community happen to have any covenants in there?
I'm not for sure what Enidville has now.
Well, I'm not talking about Enidville, but the development
The
they
development,
live in.
yeah, I'm not for sure if, I know Enidville is it's not a municipality. It's laid out like a municipality, but it's laid out like a small town, but it doesn't have the governance of a zoning person or anyone like that. So that's why we're here. We need your help to start enforcing some zoning where you can't bring commercial vehicles to a community or a residential community. And if you guys ever get a chance, I know Mr. Eds lives in Enidville. Does he still live there?
Yes, Mr. Caskey.
Mr. Caskey. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for that. But Enidville is laid out really nice as a community area, but we'd like to definitely get some help. And Mr. Pierce, I know you mentioned to call the sheriff's department. What would be the next thing? Or because we're going to keep coming up, and we're going to try to get some resolution for the southern county of Enidville, or the part of the county for Enidville to.
Mr. Mayor, why don't you tomorrow give Ed Muir a call and see if there's anything from a zoning standpoint we can do,
Okay.
or the attorney. That's JD is our
I
attorney.
sure will. Thank you for that.
And he'll tell you what options you might have available.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Green.
Yes, sir. Christine Estep.
Good evening, a little short. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Kristen Estep, and I serve as the Project Director for Wise Up ROAN, which stands for Youth Substance Use Prevention ROAN. We're a volunteer coalition that's focused on preventing youth substance use here in Rowan County. We are part of the Rowan County Youth Services Bureau, and we're funded from the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy. Our agency is actually led by Karen South Jones, which I'm sure most of you know. And our work centers around education, youth engagement, community collaboration to create a healthier environment for our young people. We're proud to partner with different organizations such as the Rowan-Salisbury School System, Communities and Schools of Rowan County, and the Rowan County Health Department, just to name a few, to support our youth in leadership development, prevention, education, and outreach initiatives. I'm joined tonight by one of our former youth empowerment team members who's now working with us part-time this summer before heading off to college, and she's a great example of how our youth stay connected and invested in this work that we do. So this summer, we're gearing up for several underage drinking prevention efforts, and we look forward to just continuing to be a resource and a partner in keeping Rowan County youth safe and healthy. I'm not here to ask for anything tonight. I just wanted to introduce our coalition and raise awareness about the work we're doing, and just express our commitment to this community. So thank you for your time and your continued support of prevention here in Rowan County.
And the last, I didn't see.
Computer's blocking it.
And the last person to sign up was Mr. Bobby Kemp.
Good evening. I've got a topic tonight I'd like to speak on that should concern each and every one of us, and I believe that it does. I made a note a while ago as I was doing some thinking about this, about our young people. I've always been involved with young people. Matter of fact, all the kids at my church call me Uncle Bobby. There's kids across all the way to Texas know me as Uncle Bobby. I used to coach a basketball team for the Y. I had 10, 11, 12-year-old girls. The name of our team was the Angels. And they did not just call me coach, but they call me Uncle Bobby too. But what I want to talk to you about tonight, like I say, it's important for all of us, is our 12th grade grads, then what? We've just finished another school year here in Rowan County, and we've had some folks that graduated to move on with their life. Where do they move on to? Where do they find a job at here in Rowan County that they can get a job as to where that they can make a life for themselves and work? I know we have the warehouse jobs, and we've got a lot of convenience store jobs, our drive-in restaurants and things like that, Hardee's, Burger King, and so on. But I'm talking about trying to make a living. That's what we want. We spend money on our young people, our schools, and our teachers, is so when they graduate that they've got an opportunity in life. And I know that a lot of them go on to college, and that's wonderful to go to college to get more education. When I was in business, I've told you all this before, but I actually quit school in the 9th grade. I got my GED when I was in the Army. But when I was working for American Homes here in Salisbury, I was fortunate enough to work my way up to a vice president's job. And I actually had people come in to apply to me for a job that actually had 4 and 5 years of college, some of them did. And education is good, but what are we going to do with the young people when they graduate school? What do we have here in Rowan County that we can lay out for them as to where that they've got a job program, as to where they can go? We've got a lot of people come into our county that are taking up all these jobs that are available, that are moving here. Our young people graduate school, they don't have a job. They don't know where to go. I know that Commissioner Ebbs and I have talked about this before, about the folks at the warehouses here can make $1,000 a week. I know a young man just bought a home, and his payment's $2,000 a month with his escrow. Now, by the time he makes his $4,000 a month, and he pays his Social Security and his federal and state taxes out of it, he don't bring home $4,000 a month. So by the time he pays his deductions and he has to make his home payment, he don't have a whole lot to live off of to support him and his family. And our homes, and again, when I was in business, we had a program, we helped people. We had a program with $500 down, approved credit, and I could put somebody in a home. Those programs are gone. They're not there no more. It costs a big down payment now for a young person to buy a home and get in there. And we need to come up with some kind of program or something where we can help them. Rent is not much lower than a home payment. Rent is hit the sky high. I've never seen anything like it in my life. You can't afford to rent. They can't afford to buy. I've got grandkids that's going to be graduating for long. I've actually got ones at South. I got one at Boston. I've got 3 that's being homeschooled. 2's in a Christian school. They're going to graduate one day. What are they going to do? What's your grandkids going to do when they graduate? What are your children going to do when they graduate? Everybody don't have big pocketbooks to go out and buy their children homes and help them get set up in life. I'd like to see our young people have some kind of future to look forward to here in the county, some kind of program as to where that somebody comes in with an apprenticeship or something and says, hey, when you graduate, we would like for you to come to us. Instead of letting people come in outside the county and take our jobs away from our young people. We've got to start looking out for our young people. We do a great job with their education. We do a great job with their teachers. They're in good schools. But what then? What do our graduates do once they get out of school? We need a program, folks, that will help our graduates when they get out of school. When you bring in these big businesses here, there needs to be something in there that says that they have to hire so many young people out of Rowan County. Even if they have to have a training department to take them into to train them. When that business comes to town, they should be able to hire our people right here in the county and offer them training to come in and run those jobs. I promise you, every job that you've been on, was you qualified for it the first day you went to it, or did you have to learn what to do? Somebody had to teach you. Somebody had to show you. That's what we need to do for our young people. We need to help them. But I hope you'll keep that thought in mind. Our 12th grade grads, and then what? Then what are they going to do? But that's all I had to say this afternoon. I appreciate y'all's time and the opportunity to come here and speak. Thank you.
Bobby, I think if you would check with the Economic Development Commission or some other folks, you'll see that we have brought into the county Chewy, Chick-fil-A warehouse. People can start off better than $50,000 a year. Macy's is hiring 2,000 people down there. And there's quite a bit in Rowan County where people are getting started with.
That's wonderful. How many graduates do we have in Rowan County each year?
Well, I don't know that off the top of my head, but there's plenty of work here for folks to do.
Yes, sir.
Oh, we have a special recognition tonight, and we are grateful and thankful to have Rowan County Youth Voice Selection. The Youth Voice allows county commissioners to connect with the next generation of leaders. The event brings together youth delegates from 4-H, youth development clubs, boys and girls clubs of North Carolina, Youth Voice, which takes place on Friday and Saturday of the NCACC's annual conference. It offers sessions that help youth better understand what county governments do and the role of commissioners as a governing body for the counties, and provides multiple opportunities for youth and county officials to connect. Would y'all like to come up? This year's conference is in Forsyth County. Carson Halpin.
Yes, sir.
Carson Halpin is a 16-year-old 4-H'er who attends Faith Charter Academy and is a Hot Shots Shooting Sports 4-H club member. Carson will speak to the Board of Commissioners about his experience in 4-H as part of his requirement for being the youth voice representative for Rowan County.
And this is Carson. I'm Laura Allen. I'm the 4-H agent with Rowan County Cooperative Extension, and we're excited about Carson having this opportunity, and I'm going to turn it over to him.
All right. Well, as Ms. Allen said, my name is Carson Halpin. I'm the county president for 4-H. And I would like to say, for starters, that a lot of people have this preconceived notion that 4-H is simply an agricultural club, which is not true. It is a pathway towards greater service and leadership, and I believe that it will allow the future of this generation to really excel in leadership positions. And so it has also taught me about civic engagement in particular, and that is why I agreed to volunteer for this Youth Voice event. And yeah, thank you. So I look forward to attending the NCACC event. I hope to see you all there. Thank you very much.
We wish you good luck. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Sure you want that?
Yes. Get into the meat. At this point in time, we will consider PE 02-25 from Mr. Rod Weaver. Shane, tell us about it.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Get that pulled up. So, Mr. Weaver has submitted a permit to exceed the noise ordinance standards for a property that he and Misty Thomas owns on the left side of the screen here. There's a property at Patterson and Brown Road, about a 17-acre site, and this will be the third annual One Love Music Festival. So this event would be proposed for Saturday, August 2nd. There's a rain delay, August 23rd. The event would be between 3 and 10:30. So each one of these type events, as you know, they're exceeding the amplified sound standards of the ordinance, and it requires a petition to this board. So they have a little music festival. I think they have line dancing that's going to be proposed here. On the right is their site plan. They have an entrance and exit off the Brown Road site. Have a stage and speaker set up here, food and beverages, vehicle parking. This isn't to scale, so it's going to look a little distorted, but that's the concept of their proposal. But the Mr. Weaver has a nonprofit organization, Wisdom Ways, Inc., Hands of Hope, has a lot of different interests, neglected courses, veterans, and also mission-based things. So there's going to be some fundraising element to this as well for the event. I won't go in all of the detail of the staff report, but I do want to touch on one of the most important things too is prior history. And this is the third annual. Last year, just like any permit to exceed, we asked staff, what was the event like last time? Environmental health, no concern. Sheriff's office, no concern. 911 calls, 0. So again, that speaks volumes, and Mr. Weaver knows that because he'll probably be back for the fourth annual event and wants a good report too. So with all that said, I think everything's positive. So staff received no emails or phone calls from citizens. We send out notice to folks within 500 feet of the site, and that's a total of 19 property owners, post a sign on the site. So did not receive any feedback for this event. But of course, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Mr. Weaver's here if you have any of him. And we always open it up for public comment in case someone did choose not to call and just want to show up. So it's not a public hearing, but public comment can be received.
How many people do you think will be attending?
I believe that was 300. Let me confirm on the application. That's the anticipated number, 300.
Are they going to be required to have any deputies working it?
Good point, I left that out. 2 to 3 are proposed by the applicant, and he also has private security too.
Would Mr. Weaver like to come up and say anything?
This is my third year. My name is Rod Weaver. I'm the owner of the property at 4860 Patterson Road. This is our third annual One Love Music Festival. What I can say about the festival is it gets better every year. For the last 2 years, we've been able to raise over $3,000. Not only do we raise money for the veterans, we also give scholarships to the local kids with the service in their community. So this year, last year we added horses to the event. This year we're going to add a couple different other things. And excuse me, just getting off the plane, so I feel a little hoarse. But we're looking forward to getting a petition from you guys if we can and continue to do what we do.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Commissioners, you have any questions? All right, so I don't have to gavel in, just take remarks. Is there anybody that has anything yay or nay about this that they want to say? All right, hearing none, I'll take a motion.
I make a motion to approve PE 0325. Oh, we're up to time. Excuse me. 0225.
I'll
Second.
second that. I'll second.
Second. All, at this time then, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So we have taken care of that one. Thank you. Mr. Weaver, it's a joy to give you a permit every year for fundraising, and to have one of these things that we don't have complaints about. And so thank you for taking care of it and doing it the right way. Who, Shane, you doing the next one? All right, come on up. We'll do, this one is this is to consider PE 03-25 High Rock Lake Association.
All right, one more permit to exceed. This one's a little bit more new. It'll be the second annual event. So High Rock Lake Association requesting a permit to exceed. This is their summer concert series. Now, last time they did 3 different locations. This one would all be from one location here in the upper left. That's a depiction of 870 Deer Lake Run. Currently a vacant lot. There is a pier on the site. So the proposal would be for 3 concerts at this location here. The band would be set up on the pier, and then the site, not for the public, but vendors and different setup folks there for that event. So the spectators enjoy from the waters of High Rock Lake in the boat, probably about 200 folks. This three-day event would be June 29th. Kind of ironic, the rain date's the day before, so I'm assuming if rain is in the forecast and they're planning on that, then they would do the date before. So June 29th, rain delay the 28th, the day before. And July 12th, day after July 13th, if rain. And then August 24th or the day before on the 23rd. This is from 12 to 5. And again, it's the same folks that put it together last time. It's kind of like Float the Goat, which I just got at full after 5, another application for them that will probably be sometime, I guess, at the July meeting for that event. So similar, we had good reports from Sheriff's Office, no 911 calls either. And yeah, so this request meets all standards of approval. The areas in red, pretty large notification area. One of the things too about these events, we like to let folks know as soon as possible. So if they, for whatever reason, don't want to hear it or want to make an adjustment to their schedule, do something different, they have plenty of time to do so. So this represents 164 property owners that received notice about this meeting and the 3 events coming up during the summer series. And to date, didn't receive any phone calls or emails. But similar, definitely open it up for public comment in case someone is concerned. Any questions of the board?
Just the same questions. How many people are they expecting?
200 for this one.
200, so 200 boats?
Probably not, but I don't know for certain. I'm assuming they're going to propose more than one for a boat.
And then officers?
I'm not sure about that, but from the previous event, the organizers know this one's one that probably has wildlife involved too for their
Right.
content.
We have lake patrol for our county as well. Are you requiring that, or are you just going to see if they're going to take you up on that?
The sheriff's office knows about the event, and that's one of the qualifiers that they'll make sure a certain patrol is available there. But it's going to be different because it's
Right.
water-based.
Exactly. That's why I was asking. Okay.
Well, the sheriff's got a brand-new boat, so it ain't like he can't get out there.
I think Miller's Ferry's got boats too.
Yep, rescue
Get out
squad,
there.
I'm just wondering if
wildlife.
we're going to have that many people in the water, if we should make it a requirement to have a boat patrol for this, with that many people. Kind of like we require officers if it's on public ground or on private grounds to have officers there. Maybe the same should be for the water.
Well, wildlife typically takes care
Yeah.
of handling that.
We don't own the lake.
We haven't talked about that in the past. I don't know if we got any jurisdiction.
Well, if I may, for the Float the Goat, that's always been a comment from wildlife and also sheriff. Just, there's an event coming up, what concerns do you have? You know, I reach out and there's no concerns, and I try to report what I do know to the board, and I don't have anything. If there's ever negativity, then it's shared with this board.
You want a motion?
Yeah, we'll take a motion at this point. Unless, Judy, you have any questions? Anybody have any questions? I didn't do public comment. Is there anybody here that has an opinion about this? This is your time to speak. Seeing none, nobody trying to get to the microphone, we'll close that and
I'll make a motion to approve PE 0325.
second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right. We will now hear from Shane, I guess, on the quasi-judicial hearing for SUP 0125, George Peeler.
Vice Chair, customarily, they have a statement to read by the chair, and I can provide you a copy of that if you'd like to refer to it or on the agenda.
Give me just a second. Yes, I do have that. As a matter of fact, the hearing for consideration of SUP 01-25 is now in session and will focus on an application submitted by George Peeler for a residential storage facility on tax parcel 614-128 located at 365 Deer Lake Run. If you feel that any member of the board may have a conflict of interest in hearing the case, please address the board now prior to any testimony or information being presented. When the board enters into deliberation to decide the case, no further testimony may be presented. The board will render one of the following three decisions: approve the permit as requested or with additional conditions, continue the request, or to deny the request. All parties who plan to testify in this case may come forward and be sworn in. Those who testify must state their name and address at the podium for the benefit of the board's clerk. All material presented must be given to the clerk and will become part of the record. This board can only accept sworn testimony. No hearsay evidence is admissible. Shane Stewart will present the case for the county.
Thank you, sir. Shane Stewart, Rowan County Planning Office, 402 North Main Street, Salisbury. As indicated in the statement read, Mr. George and Jerry Peeler, owners of 365 Deer Lake Run, has submitted a special use permit request on their property at 365 Deer Lake Run. There we go. If we look at the site here on the map, this is a parcel in the Water's Edge neighborhood, just right down the road from our permit to exceed over here. But this is an interior lot in the neighborhood, and the request would be on specifically lot 31A. Look at the map here, has a proposed address for a structure that is effectively a storage building without a house. So the primary use on this property would be a storage building called a residential storage facility. Mr. Peeler owns a house diagonal across the road, and much like a lot of his neighbors, purchased interior lots designed for accommodating their boat storage and accessory needs that are away from the waterfront lots. A lot of those don't provide sufficient space to accommodate those storage needs. So therefore, they're petitioning this board here for the storage facility. Here's a site plan of the proposed building. It's about 2,300 square feet, 2,320 exact. So the reason this is before you, if you remember back in 2018, from 2002 to 18, the board processed 30 special use permits for storage facilities. The board directed staff, how about y'all look at that and make some changes? Is there any way that we can have an administrative option? So there is now, but it's only 3% of the lot could be square footage for the ratio lot acreage to building size. That only provides the Peeler 601 square feet. So it works for a lot of folks, but not for everyone. In this petition here, per these standards, down here at the bottom, the request, the staff would not meet item 3 because it exceeds 3%. It doesn't exceed 3,000 square foot, so the Board of Commissioners can consider the request in a special use permit setting. And as such, they've submitted the necessary information here for consideration. Here's another map of the area that's more up to date from about 4 months or 5 months ago. And it's an inverted map with south facing the top part. The Peeler's lot is here outlined in yellow. In 2018, the Board of Commissioners approved, I think this was the first special use permit with the new standards in 18 for the Spell family. Off the screen in 22, another storage facility was approved at address of 235. Then you have these two here that predated the ordinance. So in this one area, you've got 4 lots that are going to be similarly used to the subject lot. If you take a bigger picture view of the interior lots in Water's Edge, there's 16 lots that are earmarked or were for uses such as this or for the community's use. See the tennis court over here, and this is the sewage treatment area. So with that, there's 2 others further down the road that have storage facilities as well. Just I cherry-picked 2 attachments out of the many that's included in your packet. It's on the left here, and it's not really intended to read in detail, but in your packet you have the Architectural Review Committee, the Property Owners Association. They approved this request in April. So the Peelers have that. And as part of this special use consideration, one of the qualifiers that you look at property value impact. And they do have a letter here from Ms. Green that looked at the site and in her opinion would actually have a positive impact on the area and conform to other lots. So I wanted to make note of those 2 items which are important in the consideration. So the only reason we're here is the size of the building. Under 3,000, but it exceeds 3%. The property is located in Area 2 of the land use plan area, adjacent to municipal areas in High Rock Lake. And typically this area is low to medium density residential, which this conforms to. It meets all the standards of the 7 criteria for general evaluation of the request. This evaluation criteria here, staff provided some comment in the staff report if you want to discuss any of that, but didn't have any concern there either. Staff provided notice to landowners adjacent. I believe there were 9 of those. Didn't receive any phone calls or emails, and posted a sign on the site too. I think most of the folks are very familiar with this process now in Water's Edge. So if Mr. Peeler does have any testimony he wishes to share, I mean, certainly can, but he's present for the board. If there's any questions or to clarify anything, we would need a motion to adopt findings of fact. And I do have some example findings I'll pass out for the board's consideration. So you could handle that in 3 motions to handle the findings of fact. And then lastly would be a motion to approve SUP 0125. Any questions?
Commissioners, you have any questions? We've only done 30 of these. Pass.
Last month.
Okay, do I have to gavel in for this?
Excuse me, sir, come up. You can go ahead and open the public hearing.
At this time, we'd like to open the public hearing for SUP 0125. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, I am George Peeler, which myself and my wife own this property. The property will not perk because Water's Edge is on a sewer system. So to be able to put a house on it, you would either have to have a sewer tap or it's a non-buildable lot. So there's very limited options that you can use these lots for, and that's why a majority of them are storage buildings in the area.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else that has comment about this? Seeing none, we're going to close it. Pierce, could you read this?
You want me to do it? All right, I'll open it up by saying this development of the property is in accordance to the proposed conditions and will not materially endanger the public health or safety. In fact, the proposed structure is subject to compliance with applicable building standard codes. The building will be used for residential storage only. No commercial business operation is permitted.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Number two, that the development of this property is in accordance with the proposed conditions, will not substantially injure the value of adjoining or abutting properties, or that the development is a public necessity. Fact, licensed real estate agent broker Diane Green submitted a letter indicating her opinion the storage building is a positive effect on values and conforms to similar lots in the area with storage buildings. Make that formal motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. And the third statement, that the location and the character of the development in accordance with proposed conditions will be in general harmony with the area in which it is located, in general conformity with any adopted county plans. In fact, according to the staff report, 6 other nearby lots on Water's Edge contain accessory storage building. In fact, on April 3rd, 2025, the Water's Edge Property Owners Association approved construction of the proposed building. Make that in formal motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Mr. Taylor, you can start construction.
We need to.
One more.
Yeah, we got it. I make a motion to pass the hearing for SUP 0125.
Second that.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Is that it?
Should be it.
All right.
Okay. You build your building.
All right. Now we get to enjoy road naming. Oh, boy. Come on up. They get more interesting every time you bring us.
I'm sorry?
I say they get more interesting every time you come.
Oh, the name choices?
The names.
So I'm here tonight. We had a request to name this road, and it's needing to be named because there's already 2 houses, and they're planning a 3rd house as you turn off the drive. This is located in China Grove off of Ritchie Road. I have a petition submitted by all the property owners signed, agreeing. They had 3 choices. Whiskey Way was the one that was approved by 911 Emergency Services. And to hold a public hearing for that.
I have a public hearing on the naming of a road at 2400 block of Ritchie Road. Do we have anybody here that lives on this road or has a dog in this fight? Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing. Do we have a motion, Chairman?
So moved. I move that public hearing be closed and that the road naming of Whiskey Way be approved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We now have a new Whiskey Way.
Yay.
Let's get to something here that we're all looking forward to. How about a financial report?
What's good?
All right. We will start with our cumulative expenditures through May. We're at 178 million, which is up 12.1 million from last year, or 7.31%. Then our cumulative revenues, we're at 198.7 million, up 11.4% from last year, or 6.09%. Also through May. Then looking at April's property tax cumulative for the current year, we're at 111.2 million, which is up 3.2 million from last year, or 2.89%. Sales tax, this is through February's sales cumulative. We're at 28.9 million, up 1.4 million over last year, or 5.15%. And last, this is the month over month. So for February, we brought in $3.3 million, which was up 211 over last year, or 6.7%. So you can see it right here's the purple dot. So we were slightly up, so this continues to be what we're watching to see how it's going to trend. I think some of the economic reports that I saw suggested that people were buying before tariffs, and so that's why February was up more than it's been in the past. And March may look the same way. We haven't got those numbers yet, but we shall see. Now, our March looks funny on this chart because that's when we usually get our hold harmless check from the state. That's the month that gets reported in, and we expect that to be down from where we were, where that blue line is up so high. So March will come in below that blue line for sure. Any questions?
So at this point, you're just waiting for the brick to fall.
I'm just waiting, yeah. All indications are that it's going to happen, but I mean, we're trending pretty well with that. I think we're going to be close to meeting our budgeted mark for sales tax, but I think it's going to be close. Yeah. That's 40 million. Yeah. All right.
Any other questions? We'll wait till March and ask them why we're not meeting. You'll have to answer then. Commissioners, we have some board appointments, and I'm going to read them all together because I don't see any contentious. More folks here running than we have seats for. Atwell Township Volunteer Fire Department Fire Commissioners, Frank Green, no relationship to anybody on this board, applied for appointment for one of 3 county seats on the Atwell Township Fire Department, Fire Commission, which will become available on July the 1st, 2025. If appointed, term will expire June the 30th, 2027. Cleveland Community Volunteer Fire Department, Fire Commissioners, Grayson Phillips applied for 1 county seat on the Cleveland Community Volunteer Fire Department, Fire Commission. If appointed, the term will expire December 31st, 2026. Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, the following applicants were received for the associated seats on the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council that will become available on July the 1st, 2025. If appointed, the terms will expire on June the 30th, 2027. Aaron S. Moody is seeking reappointment as a general public seat. William A. Downs reappointed as a faith community. Let's take those and we'll go down to the rest of them in a minute. Is there a motion on these?
Motion to approve all applicants.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Rockwell Rural Volunteer Fire Department Board of Trustees. The following applicants were received for the 2 county seats on the Rockwell Rural Volunteer Fire Department Board of Trustees. If appointed, the term will expire December the 31st, 2026. Timothy J. Latham, this is his initial appointment. Michael Peoples, his initial appointment. Rockwell Rural Volunteer Fire Department Fire Commissioners. The following applicants were received for the 3 county seats on the Rockwell Rural Volunteer Fire Department Fire Commissioners that will become available July the 1st, 2025. If appointed, the term will expire June the 30th, 2027. William T. Balcom, reappointment. Jeffrey Boger, reappointment. Kelly Wilhelm, initial appointment. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve all applicants.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All of those have been approved.
Motion to adjourn.
Pierce, motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Second.
Yes, sir.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Go home and enjoy a good night.